back, guys. Thanks for tuning in to our Annapurna Base Camp series where I break down the details of our 11-day trek with Intrepid Travel to Annapurna Base Camp. Today, I'm going to be giving you the details of day 4 of our trek, where we went from Tadapani to Chamron, and I'm also going to be telling you about the food on the trail. So as I mentioned, day 4 saw us go from Tadapani to Chamron. Day 4 was what I like to refer to as Hell Day. We had unprecedented weather on the trail. To put it into perspective, we did our trek mid-September, sort of entering late September. From everything that we read, wet season had finished, dry season was beginning. Even our guides and porters could not believe day 4's weather. Day 4, we had torrential downpours and then just like mist and wetness all day long. The worst part was the wetter it got, the more the jungle leeches were active. We had people in our group who were pulling leeches out from between their toes because they'd crawled in through their hiking socks, on their bellies, inside their bras. It was genuinely a nightmare day. It was the worst day on the trail for sure. Morale was really low. Weather was really bad. Leeches were out in full force. We were very, very, very much ready to just call it a day once we got to Chamron. Luckily, making up for the hellish weather was our tea house in Chamron. Not only were we gifted these beautiful Moody Mountain views, but we all had nice hot showers, which just lifted spirits immensely. Besides beautiful double bedrooms, really nice hot showers, and gorgeous views of the Moody Mountains and some peaks that liked to just sort of pop through the clouds every now and then, we also had a really beautiful rainbow. But the highlight for us all, I think, in Chamron was the food. Oh, I still dream about the pizza that I had at our Chamron tea house, which I know sounds ridiculous, but trust me, it was insanely good, especially after a day like the day we had on day 4. Speaking of the food, some of the most commonly asked questions that I got in my DMs or on my blog were about the food on the trek. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to give you guys all of the details of food on ABC trek. In terms of taste and portion, the food on the trail exceeded any expectation I had at all. Every single meal that I had was a heaping plate of food, and I never ever went hungry. Also, everything that I had was delicious. I feel like I really nailed ordering, and I also think that Luke did. But all in all, I don't know anyone in our group who had that many complaints about the food. Really, food was great. It was served fresh. It was served hot, and like I said, portions were massive. Menus along the trail looked very similar, which was great because you kind of got to know what you liked and what you could expect at your next food break. Some of the food items that were really common were things like spring rolls, which were more like veggie samosas or veggie pasties if you're from the UK. There were lots of chips, lots of fried noodles, fried rice. Dal bhat was always easily available. That's the national dish of Nepal. Momos were pretty common. So good food abounded. You could also find lots of soups and carbs galore, bread in every single form, pasta and noodles, like I mentioned, lots of rice, just hearty, heavy, carby food, which is my favorite. So it was very easy for me. A lot of the questions that I got were about budgeting and food prices along the trail. As I've mentioned in pretty much all of my other videos, prices for everything, including food, increase as you go up the mountain. An example of this is that a regular meal spend for Luke and I would be roughly $5 to $8 per person towards the bottom of the mountain, and that price nearly tripled at the summit. You definitely want to be careful about your budget because there are no ATMs along the trail, and only one tea house that we stayed in accepted any form of card. As far as dietary restrictions are concerned, I had a lot of questions from people asking What about being vegetarian? Was it easy? Could you be gluten-free on the trail? So I thought I'd answer that now. Vegetarian food was so easy to find. Actually, I feel like it was more common to find veggie food than it was to see meat on the menu. If I did see meat on the menu, it was mostly chicken. As for my gluten-free friends, good luck. I mean, I don't say that to be snarky. I just think that it wouldn't be easy to be gluten-free on the trail. You could, in theory, eat rice and dal bhat the entire length of the trail. You would get no variety and no real other options outside of that, but it could be done. If you are a celiac and you have a real allergy to gluten, I would say avoid. The kitchens in the tea houses just aren't set up for people who have strict dietary restrictions or allergies like that. A lot of the times pots and pans are used interchangeably. Sometimes they're not washed in between making different foods. So it would kind of be a landmine if it's going to be a health issue for you. Obviously, I'm not gluten-free myself and I'm not celiac, so I'm sure that there are cleverer people than me who could figure out how to do it, but I would say it wouldn't be the best experience. Like I mentioned also before, a lot of the food is like noodles, pasta, bread, so it would just be difficult. My last tip for food on the trail is about timing. All of the food that you order at tea houses is made fresh as you order it, which means that it can take a little while, especially during peak season. As the trails get busier, there's more hungry hikers. Service is just a little bit longer than what you would be used to at a regular restaurant. So I would say my big tip is to be patient, keep a smile on your face, and use it as an opportunity to rest your legs and catch up with other hikers along the trail and hear from people in your group. And yeah, just kind of reset, relax. Your food will be out to you in no time and you'll be fed and back on your feet. Next week, I'll be sharing all about accommodation, answering all of your questions about where we slept, what you need to pack to have a comfy, cozy night on the trail. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notifications for all of our videos weekly, and head to my blog if you want more in-depth travel content.